So the overall mission of Google, which was pretty much as front and center for everyone in the company and appeared at the top of the IPO when Google first went public, is to organize the world's information and make it available and useful. And we recognize that despite some people's feelings, not all information in the world exists on web pages. There is information in the world in videos, there's information in the world in music, there's information in the world in books. And in particular, my team, which is the books team, we take our mission as a very simple derivative of the overall Google mission. So we are about organizing the world's books and making them universally accessible and useful. And when we start to execute on that mission, we run into many of the same issues that Europeana runs into. The public domain books are, in a particular way, the easiest books to deal with. Because we simply have to find a whole lot of scanners and a whole lot of books and scan the books and put them up on the web. And then the broad category in the middle of orphan works and books that are out of print turn out to be, for digital rights reasons, some of the most difficult to deal with. So we've scanned over 15 million books that include over 5 billion pages and 2 trillion words through 40 library partners and 30,000 publishing partners. So we have about 2.5 million or 3 million public domain books that we have scanned. Those books are accessible from books.google.com. You can read them all the way end to end. So ranking has emerged within Google Books as an interesting and challenging problem where some of the received wisdom from Google doesn't always apply. We look at a number of signals. As I said, we look at reviews, we look at how often people read the book once it's been on our site for a while. We also, in some cases, get data such as library circulation data to help understand how popular the book is. Then we index it, link it up to the words that are within it, and put it up on Google Books, and then you can do the search. Alright, so that all sounds easy, but in fact there are a number of major challenges. Here's one of them. We've scanned books in 478 languages. And just the problem of trying to do OCR in that many languages is quite hard. We don't actually cover them all. But there's some interesting things. Kalala Soup, we have 82 books. Klingon, we have 3 books. For those who don't know, Klingon is a language that was invented in the Star Trek TV show. As well as 35,000 books in Korean, and obviously these are only the Ks, right? One of the issues in books is really important is the date that it was published. You care about this, well, you care about it as one of your ranking signals, because newer books may or may not be more useful to a particular researcher than older books. It's just a basic fact about the books, but the other really big reason that we care about publication dates is because public domain versus non-public domain is very often determined by publication dates. So these are some examples that have come up in our actual scans. So we get book places where we can read the 1906, but not the last character. We get books that have a publication date of 1957/8. Interesting challenge that comes up is the challenge of annotations. This is a case where you're not quite sure whether what you've got is actually garbage or treasure. Right? If somebody writes in the margin of a book, it could be anything from the proof of Fernet's last theorem to somebody trying to get their pen to start writing again. And so when we're scanning a 100-year-old book from the library, we never know whether or not to actually preserve the annotations. Generally speaking, we preserve the annotations, but we don't always digitize them. So they're always present in the original scan, and we may or may not actually include them in the digitization for search purposes. So, and we also found a kind of a bad user experience that, especially for more recent books like this, if somebody actually is on Google Books and they find a book that they like, And we've already got it digitally. We'd kind of like to be able to just give it to them or sell it to them. So for both of these reasons, we're actually going later this year to start actually selling digital books. For the two people in the audience who are not familiar with this is a U.S.-only settlement that addresses the issue of orphan works in the U.S. and creates a fairly elaborate process by which those works can be sold and can be made available to the public. So let me just wrap up by summarizing that our goal here is to organize the world's books, make them universally accessible and useful. And we really think about, every day when we come to work, we think about these different buckets, what we can do to legally push as many books as possible into the public domain, what we can do to work more and more closely with our publisher partners to make books through a variety of methods available in preview or in full view for an appropriate cost, and then to work both in the US and in Europe on the orphan works problem.